Hello and welcome to Daily English Listening. I'm Liam, and today you will discover your English level. Not with a test, not with a teacher, just with your ears and a little focus. You will listen to 6 short stories, one for each level: beginner, elementary, intermediate, upper intermediate, advanced, and expert. If one story feels easy and the next feels difficult, that's perfect. That's how you find your level. Let's begin. Level A1, Beginner. At this level, English is simple and clear. Sentences are short. Words are common and easy. If you understand this easily, you are at least A1. My name is Sarah. I am 28 years old. I live with my family. We have a cat. His name is Oscar. I like my cat very much. We live in a small apartment. The apartment has 2 rooms, a living room and a bedroom. Our home is small but cozy. There is a garden near my building. I go there every evening. I walk with my cat. He runs and plays. I sit on a bench and watch him. Every morning I wake up at 7. I get up and eat breakfast in the kitchen. I drink tea. After breakfast I brush my teeth. Then I go to work. I work in a small bookstore. It is near my home. I walk to work. It takes 15 minutes. At the bookstore, I sell books and help customers. I take money and give change. My boss is friendly. My work is simple. At 1 o'clock, I eat lunch. I eat a sandwich or some fruit. Sometimes I drink coffee. At 6 o'clock, I finish work. I go home. I am tired but happy. I cook dinner for my family. We eat together. We talk and laugh. After dinner, I wash the dishes. In the evening, I watch TV. Sometimes I listen to music. Sometimes I read a small book. At 11 o'clock, I go to bed. My cat sleeps next to me. Before I sleep, I think about my day. I feel good. My life is simple, but I am happy. If you understood this story easily, congratulations. Your English is at least A1. Now let's move to level A2, elementary. At this level, English becomes richer. Sentences are longer. You will hear about routines, plans, and daily activities. My name is David. I live in a small apartment near the city center. It is not big, but it's comfortable. There is a kitchen, a bedroom, and a living room. From my window, I can see a park and some tall trees. I work in an office not far from home. I usually walk to work because it only takes 10 minutes. When the weather is bad, I take the bus. I start work at 9 in the morning and finish at 6. I answer phone calls, send emails, and help my manager with small tasks. My colleagues are friendly. We often talk during our lunch break. At lunchtime, I go to a small cafe with 2 coworkers. We sit near the window and talk about our families or our weekend plans. Sometimes we laugh a lot because one of my coworkers tells funny stories. After work, I don't go home right away. I usually go to the gym for 1 hour. I do some exercise and listen to music on my phone. When I finish, I feel tired but good. Exercise helps me relax. At around 7 o'clock, I go home. Before dinner, I take a shower and change my clothes. Then I cook something simple. Sometimes I eat while watching my favorite TV show. On weekends, my routine is different. I meet my friends in the city center. We go for coffee, walk around, and sometimes watch a movie. If the weather is nice, we sit in the park and talk for hours. If this story felt easy to follow, your English is A2 or higher. Now let's move to level B1, intermediate. At this level, you can understand longer stories and detailed ideas. The speaker sounds more fluent. You will hear natural expressions. My name is Emma. I work as a receptionist at a small hotel. I check guests in, answer phone calls, and help people when they have questions. I've done this job for almost 4 years now, and I still enjoy it. I like my job because every day is different. Sometimes guests are from other countries, and I get to practice English with them. I start work at 8 in the morning. When I arrive, I make a cup of tea and check the list of reservations for the day. Sometimes the problems are small. A guest needs an extra towel or a key that doesn't work. But sometimes there are bigger issues, like a room that wasn't cleaned. It can be stressful, but when I solve a problem, I feel proud. My colleagues are friendly. We often help each other when someone is busy. I think teamwork is very important in any job. After work, I like to clear my head. I don't go home right away. Instead, I walk to the park near my hotel. I listen to music or just enjoy the quiet. When I get home, I cook dinner and watch something online, usually a documentary or a short film in English. In the evenings, I study online. I take a course about customer service because I want to become a manager one day. It's a lot of work, but I believe it's worth it. On weekends, I usually relax. Sometimes I meet friends or I go hiking in the countryside. If this story made sense and felt natural to you, your English is at least B1. Now let's move to level B2, upper intermediate. At this stage, you can understand longer stories and detailed ideas. You will hear natural expressions, comparisons, and reflections about life and work. My name is Carlos. I'm a freelance photographer. For several years, I worked in a studio taking pictures for weddings and events. The job was safe, the people were kind, and the money was good. But after a while, I began to feel bored and stuck. Every day looked exactly the same. The same studio, the same types of photos, the same conversations. I wanted more freedom, more creativity, and more control over my time. So 2 years ago, I made one of the biggest decisions of my life. I left my job and decided to work for myself. At first, life as a freelancer was really hard. I woke up early every morning, opened my laptop, and tried to find work online. I sent messages to small businesses, emailed old contacts, and made a website to show my photos. Some days nobody replied. Other days a client would offer very little money. It was difficult to stay motivated. There were days when I worked 10 hours and earned almost nothing. I thought about going back to my old job, but deep down I knew I had to give it time. I told myself that every small step would lead somewhere. Little by little, things started to change. My photos got better. My confidence grew. New clients started to contact me. Some of them came from recommendations. People who liked my work told their friends about me. Now my life looks very different. I usually start my mornings around 8. I make coffee, check my emails, and write down a list of things I need to do. My living room is also my office. It's small but comfortable. There's a big window with lots of light. When I have a busy day, I can spend hours editing photos, but I always try to take short breaks every couple of hours. I stretch, drink tea, or step outside for a few minutes. The best part of being a freelancer is the freedom. I can choose which projects I want to do. If I want to take a few days off, I can. That flexibility makes a huge difference in how I feel about my work. But of course, it's not always easy. Working alone means there's no one to give you feedback. Sometimes I miss having colleagues to laugh with, and the money isn't always stable. One month can be amazing, and the next can be very quiet. But I've learned to plan ahead. When I earn more, I save part of it for slower months. I've also learned that believing in yourself is everything. When you work alone, no one is there to motivate you. You have to build that energy from inside. Looking back now, I'm proud of the risk I took. It wasn't easy, but it changed me. I've become more organized, more patient, and much more confident. I wake up every morning feeling proud of what I do. If you understood this story easily, great job. Your English is upper intermediate or higher. Now let's move to level C1, advanced. At this level, English becomes truly natural and expressive. You will hear more abstract ideas, longer sentences, and deeper reflections. My name is Nina. I work as a project manager for a marketing company. I've been in this field for nearly 8 years, and during that time, I've realized something interesting. Managing people is often more complex than managing tasks. People have emotions, ideas, and completely different ways of seeing the same situation. A typical day for me starts early. I like to arrive before everyone else while the office is still quiet. That first hour sets the tone for the rest of the day. I make coffee, open my laptop, and check the list of ongoing projects. That's my time to think, plan, and prepare. When the team arrives, the office atmosphere changes. There's movement and conversation. My role isn't to do the technical work myself, it's to make sure everyone has what they need to do their best. I connect people, remove obstacles, and keep everyone aligned. When someone on the team feels lost or stressed, my instinct is to listen first. It took me years to learn that leadership doesn't mean having all the answers. It means creating an environment where people feel safe to ask questions. Most problems at work don't come from lack of skill. They come from lack of understanding or poor communication. I've also learned that good leadership is not about control. It's about trust. When your team trusts you, they'll tell you the truth. They'll admit mistakes and share feedback. But trust doesn't appear overnight. It's something you build slowly through consistency, fairness, and respect. Of course, things don't always go perfectly. Sometimes deadlines move, clients change their minds, or unexpected problems appear. In those moments, my job is to keep everyone calm. If I panic, the team will panic too. So I try to stay grounded and remind everyone that mistakes are part of the process. After long days filled with meetings and deadlines, I crave silence. That's why I enjoy quiet activities like walking, reading, or cooking. Cooking for me is almost meditative. It's a small reminder that not everything has to move fast to be meaningful. If there's one thing my career has taught me, it's that success isn't just about finishing projects. It's about growing as a person while you do it. Each challenge teaches me something new about patience, listening, and empathy. At the end of every project, what stays with you isn't the report or the numbers. It's the people, the lessons, and the quiet satisfaction that you made a difference. If that story felt natural and clear, your English is at least C1. Now let's move to level C2, expert. At this level, language sounds effortless and elegant. You will hear subtle ideas and gentle rhythm. My name is Elena. Over the years, I've realized that the hardest part of life isn't making decisions. It's understanding what they mean. When we're young, we imagine that every choice is a doorway to something better. A better job, a better city, a better version of ourselves. But eventually you look back and see that every decision carries both gain and loss. Something found, something left behind. For a long time, I chased progress without direction. I changed jobs, changed cities, always telling myself I was moving forward. But sometimes I wasn't moving toward anything. I was just running away from stillness. There's a strange fear in stillness, as if silence might reveal what we've tried to hide from ourselves. These days I live differently. My mornings are slow. I make coffee, open the window, and let the light spill across the floor. That small moment feels like the most honest part of my day. I don't rush. I just sit and listen to the hum of the world. I used to think meaning came from action. Now I know it grows out of reflection. I still work. I'm a consultant, but my relationship with work has changed. What once felt like pressure now feels like practice. Real progress isn't when systems become faster. It's when people inside them begin to feel understood. Outside of work, I write, not for an audience, but for awareness. Writing is a mirror that tells the truth. Some days I write about the past, not to live there, but to learn. Other days I write about the future, not to predict, but to make peace with not knowing. Lately, I've been thinking about time, not as something that passes, but as something we move through. I've realized that the quality of time depends less on what we do and more on how awake we are while we do it. A single moment of presence can last longer than an entire day spent rushing. I used to think growth meant collecting things, achievements, recognition, experience. Now I see it differently. Growth is the art of letting go, choosing what to release so that what matters has room to remain. We live in a world that worships addition, more goals, more noise. But true wisdom lies in knowing when to stop, when to rest, when to say, this is enough. Maybe that's what freedom really is. Not doing whatever we want, but knowing we don't need to. Peace isn't something waiting at the end of the road. It's something that walks beside us in the rhythm of our own footsteps. If you understood this story easily, congratulations. Your English is near native level. You can follow complex ideas and emotional expression with ease. But remember, fluency isn't an ending. Even at C2, there is always something new to explore, new stories to hear, new ways to express who you are. And that brings us to the end of our journey from A1 to C2. You've listened and tested your understanding through 6 different levels of English. Maybe you found one level easy and another a little challenging. That's completely normal. Language learning isn't a straight line, it's a process of growth. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of Daily English Listening. I'm Liam. Keep going, keep learning, and remember, fluency isn't a finish line, it's a way of life. Bye for now.